Hey, friend. So today I want to talk a little bit about something that you may have heard about in CPE, and you may not even know that you have it, and that's pastoral authority or chaplain authority if you don't like the word pastoral. Chaplain authority, spiritual care authority, whatever you want to call it. But the question is, do you believe you have it? It was interesting to me because I saw two things recently that made me say, yeah, I need to make this video. The first was someone who was a new CPE student, and she was talking about how when physicians come into the room, she kind of deferred to them and what it looked like for her to take up space and, how she felt like she had to end conversations quickly and that sort of thing because a physician showed up. But then I had another situation just like that at work today where a coworker said something very similar. And this is from someone who is actually a chaplain. So this isn't a student. This is someone who is a chaplain and was saying how that feels uncomfortable for them. And so for me, the first thing that I want to add, if you are going to be a chaplain, you need to realize this. This is the number one thing. Physicians are not your boss. Physicians are colleagues. Now, they're not your peers, but they are not your boss. You all work for the patient. So the physician, the nurse, the PCT, you, dietary, EVS, we all have one major boss, and that is the patient, right? So I think that's the other thing. If you come from an environment as a chaplain where it was more of a corporate structure and the person with the most education or the person with the most respected position is the one who has the authority, that is something that you want to work through in CPE, okay? Because the truth of the matter is no one on that care team has more authority per se than that patient. The patient is the one who dictates how much authority even a physician has. Anybody ever heard of AMA? A patient can leave against physician orders, right? So one of the things that I talk about is because I've experienced it as well, where I will be in the middle of a conversation with a patient, or maybe that patient has asked for prayer and I'm praying, and the physician pops in the room. And I've had some great physicians who will absolutely step right back out the room. I see them out in my periphery, right? They'll step right back out the room. But I've had others who started to talk while I was talking. So you might be thinking, Leslie, how did you handle that? I'm so glad you asked. I handled it by saying, excuse me, we're still in the middle of our conversation. Can we have 5 minutes to wrap this up? It's really that simple. It's not rude. It's not confrontational. If it is not an emergency, you can take a couple of minutes to wrap that conversation up, right? And if a physician gets mad with you about it, they get mad with you about it. Won't be the first person to ever get mad with you, and it won't be the last. But you have to use your authority. And sometimes I think physicians forget that spiritual care is just as important to that patient as their physical health. Now, of course, if I'm sick, I want to see a doctor. I want someone who can tell me what's going on. So I'm not saying we are at the same level in terms of knowledge and care that we offer the patient. But what I am saying is that spiritual support to those who really desire it, and that's really coping for them, and a resource, there's so many benefits. It's so well researched about better patient outcomes. So you don't need to step to the side. You need to stand in your authority and advocate for that patient. Now, if the patient says, you know what, I think I'm done here, I want to speak to my physician, poof, I'm gone, okay? But just because a physician shows up, don't mean that this visit is ended. The other thing is, come real close. If I'm praying and a physician walks in, I don't even give him a chance to talk. My hand goes up. I'm not kidding. My hand goes up. I'm like, 1 minute. And I continue to pray. Because to me, that impacts that patient's outcomes. That patient asks for prayer. Prayer is important to me. It's important to that patient. And yes, your role is important, but it's no more important. My role is sacred in this moment, So tell me what y'all think about that. Are you intimidated by physicians? And notice I call them physicians. Why do you call them physicians, Leslie? Y'all ask such great questions. I have the best chaplain community on YouTube. I call them physicians because there are many doctors in the hospital. There are many people who hold doctorates. Yes, nurses hold doctorates. Chaplains hold doctorates. So for me, and if you go to and get a doctorate, you go get your PhD, you go get a DMin, you go get a doctorate, you are a doctor. So they are physicians. Until next time, my name is Leslie. If you are new around here, I'm creating the videos that I wish existed when I started my journey onto chaplaincy. Like, share, comment, cries of outrage welcome as well. Let me know. Do doctors intimidate you? Until next time, grace and peace.